Welcome to the ZoneAlarm Firewall Setup. We're going to walk through setting up the ZoneAlarm Firewall. First, we need to open a browser and go to www.zonealarm.com. It'll automatically default to the store content, so just don't worry about that. Just go right to, like I said, www.zonealarm.com. Then go down to the middle of the page, and you'll see a little drop-down box where you can select that and go ahead and select the ZoneAlarm free firewall. Click on that, and then you'll be sent to a page. And they're going to try and sell you the more advanced firewall. I can't blame them for doing that, so they'll do that a couple times. But go ahead and just download the free version. And this file that we're going to download is really just a file to help or guide us in the download. It's not the actual file. It's just so that if the download stops or whatever, it can restart. So it's like an aid to help making sure that it's going down to the right place. And I'm just going to download it to C:\downloads\ZoneLabs. You can put it anywhere you want. Go ahead and double click on that file once you've got it downloaded, either in Explorer or Mozilla Firefox. Hit OK. When you get the security warning, go ahead and run it. And now you'll be presented with a choice of Vista or XP2000. It should default to the proper operating system. Now we're going to go ahead and download the actual file itself. And I always prefer to put it into a directory called downloads so they don't get backed up when I back up files. And again, it's under C:\downloads\ZoneLabs. And there's the file name, that ZA switch. I'm going to save it. And thanks to the, and there we go, there's the path name. I'll hit next and it starts to download. And thanks to the miracle of video editing, you won't have to watch this whole download come down. And we'll go right on to actually getting the file started. Okay, so now we have the file down, and we're going to go ahead and open up my computer. And then go to local disk C and locate the file, which is under Downloads, ZoneLabs. Scroll down here. There's my ZoneLabs. And there's my file. If you're not sure which file it is, just click on the Details section, and it'll show you the details, or hover the mouse over the file, and it'll tell you how big it is. And you can see that it's 45 megs. It's a good size file. That's the file that you want, not the ZA setup. So double click on that. And that will start the install of ZoneAlarm. Give it a second here so it gets everything going. Okay, and this comes up, and they're going to try to put the spy blocker on here, which is a paid program. Again, they're going to try and sell you. I can't blame them for doing this. They're giving you a really good program for free, so it's just one of those things you have to deal with. Go ahead and register. You can put your email in if you want. I have several computers, so I don't need to have it on all of them. Go ahead and look at the license agreement if you need to. If you want something to put you to sleep at night, this will do it. Go ahead and hit install. And then the install will start. And again, thanks to the miracle of video editing, you won't have to watch this entire file install, which can take quite a while. Note that this is a file. I have a VPN, and so there are some programs that aren't compatible or that need to be shut down before ZoneAlarm can be installed, and typically it will tell you that. Be aware, though, that if you're doing like a spybot or spyware, you're going to need to disable or turn that off during the install of the firewall, and also quite possibly your antivirus as well. So we kind of jumped ahead here. We are now configuring ZoneAlarm, and again we're going to skip that too. Both the download and the configuring takes about 3 or 4 minutes each, depending on the speed of your machine. And that's done now. And this is a little marketing thing. Go ahead and fill this out. Again, this is the least you could do. They're giving you a great firewall, so go ahead and fill it out for them and be honest, so that they know what they're dealing with. Go ahead and hit finish. And go ahead and let it do the start. And so it's going to start the firewall up now. and then we're going to be prompted to do a reboot. Again, they're going to try and sell it to you again. Like I said, you're getting a free product. I wouldn't complain. But here, hit no thanks unless you want to try out the full security suite. Go ahead and let the computer do this scan. It's important that you do this because it'll find some of your base files and things like that, things that are running in memory. Just makes it a little bit easier to get the things running. And here you're prompted to do a restart. Make sure you've saved any files you have, open and closed everything, and then go ahead and hit OK, and it will start the reboot as soon as you hit OK. You won't have to tell it to restart. It'll do that automatically. Okay, so now we're back from the reboot. This is the menu that comes up and says, again, it's asking you, do you want to get more information about the spyware and other programs? Just say no, thank you. And that should complete the install of ZoneAlarm. There's also this little thing that comes up to ask if you want to watch the video. It's actually a very good video and very useful. Go ahead and take 5 minutes and watch that if you want. But it'll give you more information about doing the setup of ZoneAlarm. And now, once that's done, the first time you've rebooted, ZoneAlarm comes up with this menu. And this is your menu to access and make adjustments to ZoneAlarm, look at what's going on, and those kinds of things. And there's kind of a general menu in the very beginning that kind of walks you through or tells you the status of the product, the version, and any preferences that you might have, and that's sort of like the overview of the product. Notice here that we have Protect the ZoneAlarm client. You will have to uncheck that if you're going to have someone remote in and be able to modify the ZoneAlarm for you. Otherwise, leave that checked. That means that somebody can't come in and change things. Okay, some of the things we have to set up, we've got to go in and we've got to set up the firewall, we've got to set up a zone. What this does is if you have more than one computer on a network, or if your computer is not directly connected to the internet, you need to do this so that you can communicate with your router and with the internet. So we're going to add a subnet, and that's going to allow us to add a group of computers by giving a network address. In my case, it's 10.0.10.0 with a subnet mask of 255.255.255.0. Most people will have 192.168.0.0 or .1.0 in this place instead of the 10.0.10.0. To find out your information about your IP address, you can open up a DOS prompt, go run, and then type in command or CMD. It'll open up a black box like the one you see here, and then type ipconfig /all, and that will give you information about the IP addresses as it stands right now on your machine. And there you can see there's my IP address on my machine, there's a subnet mask in my machine. Basically what you're going to be putting in that subnet is you're going to be putting in everything's going to be these first three numbers, the 10.0.10 followed by a 0. This 248 is an actual individual address assigned to my machine. When you're done, hit exit, and there we go. There's my subnet address all set up. I've got it given a description. It's all set to go. So now I'm going to hit OK. And now the apply ungrays, so you got to make sure you hit apply. And now you can see there it is. It's listed in there. Now I've got to set up program access to make sure that some of our programs have access. And you notice here that we've got this generic host. Leave that alone. That's by default. But with several of our programs that were in memory are sitting here with question marks on them. And I already know that, like this one, this VoIP phone, I'm going to allow it. Very rarely do you allow all four of these to have green checks. You notice that at the top it says access trusted internet and server trusted internet. The access is going out and the server is coming in. And if you're not sure about a file or something that's on this list, you can click on it. You can click on the file, and down below in the entry detail, it'll tell you something about that file. And most of your files should be installed under C programs, common files, or C programs with the name, and that'll help you decide whether or not these should be allowed. So here I've got a couple in here. I mean, I know that AVG, which is my antivirus, so I'm going to allow that, and I'm doing a left click to get the green. ActiveSync down here, you can see there it is. I know it's Microsoft ActiveSync. I know that's okay. I know this other part of ActiveSync is also something that I should allow. And there's a QuickBooks program. I'm going to allow that. And this is my VPN. Now in this case, I am allowing it to have stuff coming in from the local network or from the router, and because the router is forwarding stuff from a VPN. But most programs will have just the first two green, and that's pretty much all you need. And that should be your basic program setup. Now you also have the alerts and logs, which is a nice way to go and see what's kind of going on. Before we get to that, though, let's try to open up Firefox, which is a browser. And when we do, we come up with this little window that's going to pop up in the lower right, and it's telling us that we're trying to access the trusted zone, and we need to remember this setting so it doesn't keep asking this, and then hit allow. And then a second one's going to come up that's telling us that we're trying to access the internet. So in the first case, we were accessing the router. The second one, we're going from the router to the internet. And this is just telling us it's going to allow that to occur. That it's allowing it to pass through a secondary device before it goes out. And so we're going to remember this setting, hit allow. Again, because I know it's Firefox, I know this is okay, I know this is a good thing to allow out, that's not a problem. And Firefox will open up here in a second as soon as we click that allow. And there's Firefox. It's opening up now. Now I can get onto the web, and you can see I can scroll down here, and we'll go to a different area. You can see that that's working, and I do have full access now. Now you see when I close that, and that's just a Firefox thing, the clear private data. Firefox now has two green checks in it. So I can add the program, or I can start the program up and then have it pop up and allow me to set those settings for that program. And it allows me to set up the firewall the way I want. Again, here the other thing is these logs. Under the firewall, obviously nothing's come in from the outside. And so now we're going to go in and look at the programs. Now these are the programs that are on the machine trying to go out. Firewall was stuff that's coming in. And I can, just like I can in Windows, I can go and make a column wider or narrower so I can read more detail. And here you can see that the top stuff is the latest stuff. And you can see that some things have been allowed now, whereas some stuff that was before I went through and did those settings were blocked. So now, and there's a lot in here. I mean, you can see that just about every program that's on your machine is trying to go out and do something. And pretty much every program nowadays that you install on your machine is going to try out and call home. It's just something that unfortunately is just required for most programs nowadays. So this is showing you what's going out, and the firewall tells you what's coming in. And again, there's nothing on the firewall. Typically, I'll have something from my VoIP or from my VoIP phone that will be coming in. And that's pretty much the setup of the firewall. There are a couple things up here with some status or some real-time stuff. This up here at the top is listing the 4 most common programs that are running or that are consuming the most memory. In this case, it's generic host process and the spooler, or things that are hitting the firewall the most. You can also disable the firewall, basically shut off internet access immediately. If for some reason you need to do that, you've got a virus or something to keep it from spreading to other machines. And then when we're done, we just hit the X up in the corner, and then check this little checkbox, show the message again, and then hit OK. And that's your setup of your firewall. That's it. Your firewall is now set up and running. You should be good to go. Have a great day.